Japan has started releasing treated radioactive water from the Fukushima nuclear plant. Tanks on the site hold about 1.3 million tons of the water, and reports say the process will take decades to complete. The first round of the wastewater release will be carried out over 17 days. Around 7,800 tons of the radioactive wastewater will be discharged. But the plan has been drawing criticism and protests from many. The Fukushima nuclear plant was destroyed in the 2011 earthquake and the tsunami. The tsunami caused a meltdown at the 3 of the 6 reactors. Japan and other organizations claim, governments claim that the water released is safe. The International Atomic Energy has given a green light to the plan in July, highlighting that its impact on people and environment will be negligible. But Greenpeace, a global environmental organization, has warned that the radioactive risks have not been fully assessed and the biological impacts of tritium, carbon-14, strontium-90 and iodine-129 have been ignored. Fishing communities too have been urging the government not to go ahead with the plan. They think it will reverse the work done to restore the damaged reputation to the fisheries after the 2011 disaster.
지금 거목 기간이 7, 8, 9, 3개월 동안은 해녀들이 바다 들어가서 어떤 행위도 안 합니다. 왜냐하면 새끼를 낳아야 되니까, 순산을 해야 되니까, 사람 같으면. 그래서 너무너무나 소중하게 우리는 잘 종패를 길러서 잘 하려고 하고 있는데 일본서는 이 오염수 방류를 한다니까 하늘이 캄캄한 지금 지경입니다.
Neighboring countries have also expressed concern, with China being the most vocal voice, rebuking Japan's plan as irresponsible, unpopular and unilateral. China has suspended the import of seafood. Beijing is the biggest importer of Japanese seafood. North Korea says Japan should immediately withdraw from the plan, which seriously threatens lives, safety and future of humanity. Concerns have been raised by South Korea as well. Amid chants of Kishida immediately stepped down, dozens of protesters marched through Hong Kong's financial district to protest against the release as well. Hong Kong authorities will strengthen monitoring of seafood imports from Japan. Meanwhile, the Japanese authorities have tried to assure fishing communities.
外国政府からの禁輸措置によって国内事業者様に輸出に関する被害が発生した場合にはですね、これはこれまでも繰り返し申して、ストーリーに適切に賠償させていただくようでございます。
Japan says the filtering process is removing strontium-90 and iodine-129, and that concentration of carbon-14 in the contaminated water is far lower than its dangerous standards. Even the tritium levels in the water will be below those considered safe for drinking under World Health Organization standards, according to Tokyo. Water containing tritium is routinely released from nuclear plants around the world. For the Japanese government, the discharge is a key step towards the decommissioning of the Fukushima plant. And for more on this process and the outcomes, correspondent Chris Gilbert sent us this report from Tokyo.
Well, Japan has a 1 million ton problem on its hands. That is how much wastewater is currently being stored at the Fukushima nuclear Daiichi site. It has been used to cool molten fuel inside the nuclear reactor. It was highly radioactive, but it has been treated through a special facility, and now it is sitting there, and that site is at 98% capacity. It has to go somewhere. The problem is that it contains an isotope called tritium, which cannot be removed from the water. The government and TEPCO, the company running the project, their solution has been to dilute it with extraordinary amounts of seawater and then slowly discharge it into the Pacific over 30 to 40 years, an extraordinarily long amount of time. The government is behind the science. International watchdogs at the IAEA are behind the science, saying it meets international safety standards. However, there are still critics, particularly China, which has just banned seafood imports from all of Japan in response to this discharge beginning. Also, South Korea, a former critic at the state level, their President Yoon Suk-yeol has recently said that he is behind the science of this project, but that has not trickled down to the public. 16 students were arrested trying to break in to the Japanese embassy in protest after the discharge began on Thursday. And also here in Japan, there are critics and there are opponents, particularly those along the Tohoku coastline, that area that was most affected by the tsunami. Those are the people who have seen their homes washed away. They've tried to rebuild over the last 12 years. And now those are the communities that this government is asking to shoulder the burden of the next stage of this cleanup, this discharge in their backyard, to host this over the next 3 to 4 decades, affecting their children and their grandchildren. Back to you.